from Harrisburg. The one of the final three doubleheaders here for Post State, regular season doubleheaders. They have a tournament coming up here this weekend in Rapid City, but this is a very important game for not just Post State, but also for Harrisburg, because these are the 3 and 5 seeds in Class A coming into today, and this could be the difference in you hosting the first, winning that first round, and then hosting a second round, the Super Region, getting to the state tournament. If you lose these two games, or really for Harrisburg, if you split, you get put into a position where it's going to be much more difficult to make that happen for you to be able to host both first and second round.
Yeah, and right now with about 2 weeks left in the regular season, what you're really looking at right now is who has games left to play. Harrisburg has just tonight's doubleheader, and then a doubleheader next Tuesday against Renner, and then they're done playing against South Dakota teams. Post 8 has 2 games against South Dakota teams out in Rapid City at the Veterans Classic this coming weekend, where they play Sioux Falls West and Post 22. And then they finish a week from Friday night, final guaranteed home doubleheader of the year, where they will play Spearfish. So, and there are a number of games all over the state going on tonight amongst not all 16, but a lot of the teams that comprise Class A baseball. And so when we wake up tomorrow morning, even though we know that Pierre is sitting in the 3rd seed today and Harrisburg is the 5th, those standings could be jumbled a whole lot, because these are really tight from about number 2 all the way down through number 8. So the top 8 could really be jumbled by the time we wake up tomorrow morning.
And Post State coming in after losing all 3 games in that Renner Classic. It's going to be they're going to get the bats waking up early here in this ball game, as when we go through their lineups and we talk about what they did this weekend, there's not a whole lot of hits to go around.
Yeah, and that was the disappointing part of last weekend, was that the offense, which has really been a strength for Post State most of the year, the bats just went silent. 6 runs total in 3 games. 2 runs in 2 games from the group that primarily has been the lineup that you see rolled out there most days, and so throughout this season. So it was a disappointment on the offensive end. It actually, Post 8 got some decent pitching performances. Kobe Carr threw really well the first game against West Fargo, a game that he did not deserve to lose. A couple of bad breaks went against Post 8 in that one, and then the next day against West Central, a game where they only allowed 5 runs. A couple of good pitching performances. Lincoln Keenholz pitched well, and then and again, only allowing 5 runs. That's a game that, based upon Post 8's offense, you think they would probably have won. So just a tough weekend. Just got to put it behind you and move forward. And this is, like you said, John, a huge doubleheader for Post 8 and for Harrisburg today.
One guy that didn't pitch very well, and Garrett Stout, he's going to be the starter here. He started in that final game against Sioux Falls East on Saturday. Did not have a good outing, only went 1 inning, gave up those 4 runs. But because the pitch count was limited in that game, he only had that. He didn't need 3 days rest. He needed just those 2, and he got those 2 days rest. And now will be then in the on the bump here tonight for Post State in game number 1, as he'll go against Will Simmons, who has thrown the most innings for Harrisburg coming into this ball game here this season for Harrisburg. So we'll go through their matchups in just a little bit, but. Again, for Harrisburg, you look on the other side, their hitting is almost all or nothing. They have 20 home runs, 20-plus home runs this season, but their batting average is under 250 as a team. So they like to hit a lot of extra base hits, but they're not always there.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and that's where, if you're Post 8, I mean, this is where your starters, Garrett Stout in game number 1, Jack Van Camp in game number 2, you have to become pitchers and not throwers. You have to learn how to, or you have to figure out that you're gonna hit the corners. You're gonna try to throw some stuff on the outside of the zone, maybe make the hitters chase and with some swings outside of the zone, and just kind of see where things end up. And so this is going to be I suspect on both sides. You got a couple of good pitchers going for both sides in both games. Runs are going to be at a premium. We may see a lot of small ball tonight, John, unless you get some balls put over the fence.
And we'll talk about the where they sit, where the dimensions are of this field. As obviously, you can check us out on the YouTube channel at KCCR Sports. We're streaming live there as well, right here on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. It's the pregame show of Post State and Harrisburg in a doubleheader. One of the final 3 doubleheaders scheduled for Post State this season. And this is a big 2 important games for Post State and for Harrisburg. And we'll have more for you here in just a little bit. We'll step aside for 3 minutes, come back with more of the pregame show. You're listening to Post State Baseball. Today is KCCR. Today is KCCR.com.
Number 6, right fielder.
As we welcome you back here to Harrisburg, getting set for Game 1 of the doubleheader between Post State and Harrisburg. John Winkler alongside Greg Dean, and we're just about set as Will Simmons taking his warm-up tosses on the mound. We go through the lineup for Post State. Garrett Stout will lead things off. He's pitching. Lincoln Keno is batting second, playing shortstop. Andrew Coverdale will bat third. He's playing second base. Andy Gordon's in the cleanup spot, playing first. River Iverson batting fifth, playing left field. Cade Hinkle is the catcher as he bats sixth. Matt Lusk will bat seventh, playing center field. Jack Van Camp, the right fielder, batting eighth, and A.J. Gaden rounds out the order, batting ninth as he plays third base here for Post State. Will Simmons, he's thrown the most innings on this team, 33 and 2/3 innings. His ERA 3.53, a whip of 1.04. He is 2 on the year. This is his 7th start, 8th appearance of the season. And Greg, it's going to be key to get on him early and to get a lot of base runners here in the first inning.
Yeah, and just to experience, just to make sure that offense is back clicking again after the doldrums that they hit this past weekend. So you really are looking for a quick start out of Post 8 tonight.
So Will Simmons, he will work from the stretch to begin the ball game as he gets the sign. The first pitch is over for strike one. We're underway, 4:56 here on this beautiful Tuesday evening from Harrisburg. As somewhat cloudy, but hey, we'll take it here as the 0-1 pitch will be over for strike two, and it's now 0-2. Garrett Stout, he is 2 for 8 over the weekend. He is the only guy that picked up multiple hits for Post State this weekend when they went 0 for 3, or I guess last weekend when they went 0-3 in that Renner Classic. The 0-2 pitch is grounded to the right side. We fielded by Weedy, the second baseman. The throw to first is not in time, and it's a leadoff single for Garrett Stout as Weedy took too much time. And there's your first base run of the ball game.
Yeah, and just a kind of a slow roller of a ground ball, and the second baseman just didn't charge it very far, and came up and just kind of made a ho hum throw to first base, and Stout was hustling out of the box. He rolled over on the ball on the 0-2 pitch, and was able to beat out the throw. So credit Garrett Stout with maybe jump starting things in the leadoff at bat.
Keno's will bunt the ball to the left side, fielded by the third baseman Kogel. The throw to first, that one will be in time. And there's a sacrifice bunt for Lincoln Keno's and a runner in scoring position to bring up Andrew Coverdale here with one down in the top of the first.
78 degrees at first pitch here. And like you said, John, nice rain overnight in Pierre and this morning. So we were kind of wondering if we were going to be able to even play in Harrisburg today. The backup plan would be to have played at Augustana University if that would not have been the case. But like you said, beautiful day. Happy to be playing baseball in Harrisburg.
Here's Andrew Coverdale. The first pitch to him is taken low for ball one. He played in just one game over the weekend as he went 1 for 2 in that loss to West Fargo. Coverdale comes in with the team tie lead for RBIs with 19 along with Andy Gordon. Garrett Stout right behind them with 18 as the 1-0 pitch is on the inside just off the edge of the plate. Now 2-0 here to Andrew Coverdale.
And Coverdale leads or is a co-leader or right behind Garrett Stout in most offensive categories. Like you said, tied for the team lead in RBIs, hitting .387. He's second on the team in batting average.
2-0 is right down the middle for strike one. Now 2-1 here to Coverdale. Andy Gordon is on deck. These are the two guys you want up at the plate with runners in scoring position. And Stout has been a guy that's come home a lot in the 19 RBIs that both, for Andy Gordon at least to pick up, as Coverdale's now moved back to that 3 spot. There's a ground ball up the middle, and that was through for a base hit. Stout around third. He'll come in to score without a play. And Post State opens up the scoring here in the top of the first with an RBI single from Andrew Coverdale. That's a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, just kind of a well-placed ground ball, just right back up the middle. And Simmons, as a right-hander, falls off towards the first base side, and Coverdale hit that ball just kind of right over the third base side of the mound, and the shortstop was shading Coverdale two into the hole, and because of that, Coverdale was able to sneak that one past the shortstop out into center field for an RBI, and now he takes the team lead in RBIs.
Let's see if Andy Gordon can quickly tie him back up with his speed at Coverdale. We'll see if he gets put in motion at any point in this at bat. Simmons will come set from the stretch. Here's the first pitch to Gordon. That's inside for ball one. Andy Gordon 1 for 6 over the weekend. Not a whole lot of guys picked up a whole lot of hits. 7 hits in this lineup here for the 3 games that were played. Obviously, Gordon and most of these guys, Stout was the only one that I think got at bats in all 3 games. But everybody else played at least 2, if outside of Coverdale, as that one's a all speed that will catch the corner, and it's now 1-1. But just 7 hits in this lineup of these 9 guys over here for Post State from this past weekend.
Yeah, I think Cade Hinkle was probably in all 3 lineups too, yes, I believe.
Yep, you're right about that. As the 1-1 pitch comes to Gordon, he'll swing and miss, and it's now 1-2.
And like we talked about at the end of in the post game after the last game on Saturday, we just every team goes through a funk at some point in the year, and that was the first 3-game losing streak for Post State this year. So you hope the funk is only 3 games long.
1-2 pitch, swing and a miss by Gordon. The throw to second is not in time, and it's a strikeout of Andy Gordon, but Coverdale is safe at second. And there's now 2 down here in the top of the first, and here's River Iverson trying to bring in that second run of the ball game. Coverdale in scoring position. Iverson went 0 for 5 this past weekend. And not in a spot where, the defense playing back, he can still bunt for a base hit, but would much likely try and drive in Coverdale with a base hit. Simmons will step off as Coverdale had a large lead over at second. Second baseman and Weedy will start to move over to hold Coverdale a little bit closer to that bag at second base. Simmons will come set. Here's the first pitch to Iverson. There's a chopper to the left side, fielded by the shortstop in Metzger. The throw to first is not in time. Actually, the ball got away. Coverdale rounded third without any hesitation, continued to try and score, and he came in to score, and it's now a 2-0 lead here for Post State.
Yeah, and I think what you're seeing is there's a little bit of extra fire on among the eights today. I mean, they're doing the little things that you need to do to win ball games against good competition, and that's leg out infield hits. Don't stop at third base on a 2-out ground ball, and so if they can keep this up for the next 13 innings, that bodes well for Post 8 tonight.
Swing and a miss by Cade Hinkle. He steps in. The left-hander will battle against Simmons with a 2-0 lead. Iverson is on at first. Reach on the air, charge to Metzger, the shortstop. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Hinkle. Swing and a miss, and it's now 0-2. As we go around the horn defensively, it's Tigan out in left field, Rayburn in center field, and Chase Mason in right. Kogel's at third, Metzger at short, Weedy at second, Lucas at first, Luce at behind the plate, and Simmons on the mound. It's a 1-2 count here to Cade Hinkle.
Hinkle comes in, as we said, he's tied for the team lead in games played with Stout. Also leads the team in runs. He's among the team leaders in runs scored and is by far and away the team leader in walks.
As Hinkle fouls that one back, remains at 1-2. You're listening to KCCR Peary Riverfront Broadcasting Station just past 5 o'clock here on this Tuesday evening. Glad you could join us for a beautiful evening and tonight's here at Harrisburg. Post State will be off tomorrow, and then we'll have a doubleheader on Thursday and Friday, part of that Rapid City tournament, as Hinkle swings and misses and goes down on strikes to end the inning. 2-run score for Post State on 2 hits in the inning, 1 error, and 1 man left on base. We have played a half inning, and Post State has a 2-0 lead. Harrisburg coming to the plate. You're listening to Post State Baseball. Today is KCCR, and today is KCCR.com. Bottom of the first, as we welcome you back here to Harrisburg, as we go through the lineup for the Harrisburg team, as Tyson Kogel lead things off playing third base. Zeb Weedy will be the second baseman batting second. Peyton Metzger, the shortstop, batting third. Jack Rayburn, the center fielder, in the cleanup spot. Timon Long is the catcher as he bats fifth. Chase Mason is the right fielder, batting sixth. Chase Lucas batting seventh, playing first base. Ben Los is the DH, batting eighth. And Jack Tigan is the left fielder as he bats ninth for Harrisburg. Garrett Stout is back on the mound for Post State. He started the final game on Saturday, went just 1 inning, gave up 4 runs, stayed under that pitch count, so he only had to take just Sunday and Monday off, where he could come back here today. And there's Greg, I guess if there's a silver lining to how Post State win any games, that was probably the silver lining, is that Stout now can throw here in this ball game against Harrisburg.
Yeah, and going into that tournament, you and I talked about it off air that you know, if Post 8 would have been fortunate enough to play on Sunday, it would have potentially, you know, put a kink in your pitching staff and your rotation going into this week with these 2 games this week, and now a rejiggered tournament lineup out in Rapid City.
There's a ground ball to the right side for Coverdale to field at second, and the throw to first is in time, and leadoff man is retired here in the bottom of the first inning, and that'll bring up Zeb Weedy, the second baseman. As Weedy steps in, 311 is his average, leads the team in the batting average, as he is 23 for 74. The first pitch is outside for ball 1. Again, This is a team that, as a team, hits 242, but they have 24 home runs, 10 triples, 43 doubles. So this is a team that, even though the batting average is a little bit lower, as it's now 0-2 as that's fouled back, the batting average might be lower, but they hit a lot of extra base hits. That's a lot of extra base hits. The count is 1-1.
Yeah, Stout coming into the game, 16 and a third innings. This is his 7th appearance, sixth start. He is 3-1 on the year, tied for the team lead in wins with 3. 27 strikeouts to go with a 3.43 ERA on the year for Garrett Stout.
Count is 2-1 to the second baseman, Zeb Weedy, the 2-1 pitch. There's a line shot into center field going back on Matt Lusky. He's going to turn and watch this one go over his head. It's going to go off the wall, and it's going to be an extra base hit for Weedy. He's going to round second. With a hard turn, but stopped, and it's a one-out double. And there it is. The first hit of the ball game is an extra base hit for Harrisburg, and we'll probably say that quite a bit tonight. When they get hits, it's going to be an extra base hit.
Yeah, and with a team that swings hard, I mean, you certainly have to be a little more careful, but it also gives you an opportunity to possibly bait the hitter into chasing some stuff outside the zone, whether it be some balls just off the plate, a breaking ball that maybe breaks down into the dirt. Although this is a little bit of a different infield here in Harrisburg.
First pitch to Peyton Metzger, misses upstairs for ball 1. The shortstop Metzger, he comes in with a 281 batting average, 16 runs driven in, 3 triples on the season. He has gone deep once. The 1-0 pitch from Stout. There's a line shot. That's down for a base hit, and that'll be off the glove of Jack Van Camp, and by him, a run's going to score. Metzger's going to get to second. He's going to stop at second, and it's a single for Metzger. Gets the second on the air, and it's a 2-1 ball game. Just like that, how quickly it's that 2-run already down to just a base hit away from being tied up again.
Jack Rayburn.
Yeah, and unfortunately, just a sharp ground ball, and Van Camp was looking like he was going to come up throwing and maybe try to make a play at the plate, and unfortunately, the ball skipped over the top of his glove, and because of that, Metzger ended up on second base, and the run scored.
First pitch is taken for strike 1 to Jack Rayburn, the center fielder.
Like we talked about, a little bit of a different infield here, turf infield, but a skin base paths. I mean, so you got aggro-lime on the base paths. A lot of time when you see a full turf infield, you see turf on the base paths as well. We saw that in Minot with the full turf field. You also see that at Augustana and Yankton, but this actually has aggro-lime on the base paths and then a natural grass outfield.
The 0-2 pitch coming to Rayburn way outside. It's actually going to get the backstop, and it's going to make it now a runner on third here with 1 down, and the count is 1-2. As there might have been a mix-up on what the call was, because Hinkle was starting to drop down like it was going to be an off-speed pitch, but ended up coming in on him as a fastball way outside.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I mean, as soon as that ball skipped past Hinkle, Stout just looked in and just kind of motioned for Hinkle to come out and just a quick mound session just to make sure that they're on the same page as far as signals go. Here's
the 1-2 pitch. That one is over for strike 3 at the letters, and there's the second out as Rayburn goes down looking. And they'll bring in Timon Long, the catcher, who's got the tied for the team high in home runs with 5. He's got the team high, or second in the team on RBIs with 19, and he's batting .300 on the season. That's a big spot here for Timon Long to tie the ball game up with that tying run 90 feet away. Here's the first pitch to Long. That one misses outside for ball 1.
And like you said, John, with a team batting average below 250, probably at 300. You've got your stats in front of you, but I suspect he's probably one of the team leaders in batting average at 300 in addition to home runs.
Yeah, him and the number 2 hitter in Zeb Weedy are the only 2 that are hitting 300 coming into this ball game for Harrisburg. As the count is now 1-1 to the catcher Long. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That's fouled back, and it's now 1-2. And Stout a strike away from ending this bottom of the first inning, preserving that 1-run lead. We talked about runs being at a premium. We've seen 3 here in the first inning, so we could maybe potentially see a little bit higher scoring game than what we were anticipating. The 1-2 pitch well outside, and a good job there by Hinkle to throw the glove out there. Otherwise, this game would have been tied at 2.
we've talked about Stout's velocity. He's going to routinely sit in that mid to upper 80s range, and he will top 90 on occasion. And I think that's one of those times when he muscled up and probably would have topped 90 if we could got a reading on the gun that the Post State players have on all of the pitchers anytime one of the Post State pitchers is on the mound.
Count remains at 2-2. Here's the 2-2 pitch again. That one misses upstairs, outside now 3-2 as the sun will peek out here from behind the clouds at Harrisburg. Count is full. Stout from the windup. Here's the 3-2. That one's fouled out of play on the right side, and we'll do it again. On deck is Chase Mason. He's got the other of the 5 home runs. 24 bombs here for Harrisburg Tiger Legion team this summer. 24 home runs, 164 runs driven in. Here's the 3-2 again. That one is just a bit low, and that will be a 2-out walk. And it's now runners of the corners here with 2 down. And here is Chase Mason, the right fielder. 5 home runs, 19 runs driven in. 5 home runs, 13 runs driven in. Batting .211 here this season.
And with runners on the corners and 2 out, we'll see what kind of games that the Harrisburg coaching staff wants to play with runners at the corners, but 2 out. And Kate Hinkle has a good arm behind home plate.
First pitch just taken for strike one. Thought maybe it just missed off the inside, but the umpire calls it strike one. Now 0-1. Mason is susceptible to the strikeout. He leads the team in strikeouts, 41 so far. The 0-1, that one's fouled to the third base side, off the netting into the third base dugout. Mason's got 15 hits and 71 at-bats. 5 of those 15 have gone over the fence. Stout will come set. Here's the 0-2. That one just missed outside, and it's not 1-2. Hinkle tried the frame job, but the batter's box is it's not going to fool any umpire. It's not going to go away anytime soon. It's nice and thick with the turf. 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss. And a strikeout of Chase Mason, and that will retire the side. Stout gets 2 strikeouts in the inning. 1 run scores on 2 hits, 1 error, and 2 men left on base. We have played 1 full complete inning, and it's a 2-1 lead for Post State. You're listening to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR, and today's KCCR.com. As we welcome you back here to Harrisburg, top of the second inning, it is 7-8-9. Matt Lusk, Jack Van Camp, and A.J. Gaden to lead things off as they try and extend their 2-1 lead. As then it will go back to the top of the order for Garrett Stout. Will Simmons on for his second inning of work. John Winkler alongside Greg Dean here on this beautiful Tuesday evening from Harrisburg. And Greg, that first inning, the 2-1 score, not necessarily so much what we were expecting out of these two teams. Maybe see a little bit and we could see this game go 2-1 at the end of this ball game, but we're expecting maybe 2-1 be the score like late in this ball game.
Yeah, and a lot of times that first inning, especially for a younger pitcher, is sometimes the toughest inning because they a lot of times maybe just aren't quite warm coming out of the bullpen, and so if you have an opportunity to get on a good pitcher, and in this case we've got a couple of them in Will Simmons and Garrett Stout, if you get an opportunity to get up on somebody in that first inning, I think every team is going to take that opportunity.
Count is 2-0 here to Matt Lusk. He went 1 for 4 in the weekend, as he also threw, didn't necessarily particularly throw as well as he probably would like. The 2-0 is outside 3-0, but he's available today. I believe he's available today. If not, he'll be available Thursday for sure in the Rapid City tournament. They're going to play Sioux Falls West on Thursday. The old schedule had Post 8 playing Sioux Falls West Friday and Rapid City Post 22 on Saturday as the 3-0 is over for strike one. Now they're going to play Sioux Falls West Thursday, Rapid City on Friday, and then their lone game on Saturday is against Gillette, and then they'll see who they play on Sunday to finish out the weekend. 3-0, 3-1. That one is catching the knees, right over the knees. It's now 3-2. And a good job from Simmons to work back from 3-0 to now be at a full count at 3-2.
Yeah, and a late addition to the tournament, Millard West out of Omaha, backed out of the tournament in the last couple of days due to some unforeseen circumstances, and so Post 22 was able to bring in, I think it's a club team out of Billings, Montana, and so they are actually in the same pool as Post 8. So we'll see a Montana team instead of a Nebraska team.
First pitch to Jack Van Camp. That one's flown out towards left field, still going back to left fielder, and he will go off the base of the wall, and Jack Van Camp is out at second. He will take a hard turn. Nobody's covering second, so he had the chance to make that hard turn as he's got himself a one-out double after Matt Lusk struck out swinging. And Post 8 is in business here with one down as A.J. Gaden will step to the plate.
Yeah, and just first pitch fastball. And again, a lot of times when you're facing a good pitcher, and we've talked about the quality that Will Simmons brings to the mound, sometimes that first pitch is the best pitch you're going to see in the entire at bat. And Jack Van Camp was very aggressive on that first pitch, took a ball into the gap and in left center, actually went away and because of that, he was able to get on base with a double.
And the ground ball to the first baseman over on the right side to Lucas. He bobbles that, or actually goes off of his glove and back towards the pitcher Simmons, and there's no chance. So now it's first and third after the error, and that'll bring up Garrett Stout.
Number 12, Garrett Stout.
So it's first and third here with one down. Here in the top of the second, and Stout can help himself out. He singled it back in the top of the first to lead off the ball game, and then came around to score on the RBI single from Coverdale.
It's the second error of the game, and actually, you might actually consider it almost the third error of the game because that first at bat will go down as an infield hit, but just that was more of a mental error than a physical error.
So with a first pitch swing and a foul by Garrett Stout, and Stout, he can tie Andy Gordon for second on the team in RBIs if he gets a base hit here. With Coverdale now at 20, Gordon at 19, and Stout at 18. But that 19th RBI is 90 feet away here for the Post 8 senior and the starting pitcher here in game one. 0-1 pitch, swing and a miss, and it's now 0-2. Now Stout has to protect.
Wind blowing straight in from center field. This field faces to the northeast, and it's probably a rare day in South Dakota where you get a wind that's blowing straight in from center field. In this case, on this park, where it faces to the northeast. A lot of times it's going to be more blowing out towards left, and we've talked about the dimensions of this park. 310 down both lines, 380 to straightaway center with a metal dark green metal fence that probably runs about 8 feet tall. So it's a pretty good shot to get a ball over top of this one.
Here's the 0-2 pitch. Stout will go the other way with it to the left side. That one's going to be fielded by the shortstop. The throw to second is not going to be in time. It's going to be another infield hit for Garrett Stout. And it's now a 3-1 ball game as he drives in his 19th run of the season.
Yeah, I thought that ball was probably a little better hit than it was. I didn't think the shortstop was going to have any chance at getting to it, but he went deep into the hole, was able to glove it, and almost had a play on Gaden at second base. But the run scored. Stout gets an RBI, and now there's runners first and second with one out.
And here's Lincoln Keenels. He had a sacrifice bunt in his first plate appearance. Would put Stout at second for Coverdale to drive in with the RBI single. 3-1 is their score here in the top of the second inning. One down, first and second. Gaden on at second base. Stout over at first. Simmons will come set. Here's the first pitch to Keenels. Here's a chopper that's going to be foul over to the man on deck and Andrew Coverdale as he'll field down the bare hand. And it's 0-1 to the shortstop Keenels.
And was almost thinking that even though there's one out, this might be another situation where Keenholz might drop down a bunt. Third baseman is back. You could potentially move runners into scoring position for Coverdale.
Simmons will come set. Here is the 0-1 pitch. That one will come in and hit Keenholz. He's saying it hit Keenholz, and now the home plate umpire and the base umpire will talk about it. There was an extra little bit of contact. You could hear it hit something on the way through the plate. And they will give Keenholz the base, and the bases are now loaded here with one down for Andrew Coverdale.
As we said, Coverdale comes in hitting .387 on the year, second on the team, 93 at bats, 36 hits. He's second on the team in doubles with 7. He's tied for the team lead in triples with 3, 19 RBIs. Actually, so he's second on the team at this point with RBIs and leads the team, tied for the team lead in runs scored with 30.
Well, he is tied now with, or I guess he is in first because he got that 20th RBI on that last at bat.
True. Yes.
So he has a chance now with 2 guys in scoring position here with one down. Count is 1-0 to Coverdale. First baseman and Lucas playing well in off the bag as the 1-0 is over at the letters, and it's now 1-1. Third baseman playing just inside the bag on the third base side over Kogel. Looking for a ground ball to throw back home. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That one's lined foul down the first base side, and it's now 1-2 to Andrew Coverdale.
Yeah, like you said, the infield is in at the corners. They will come home with any kind of a ground ball, try to cut that run down. Middle infielders are back. They'll probably go to second trying to turn a ground ball there.
Simmons will peer in for the sign. He will come set. And here's the 1-2 pitch. Coverdale will spoil that 1-2 pitch out of play. Coach White was looking for a potential of a balk on Simmons. It looked like maybe he had shifted a little bit before he came set. But both umpires didn't flinch on calling anything as Simmons will come set again. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Coverdale. There's a chopper right over the top of the mound. Fielded by Metzger at second. The throw to first is in time, and it's a double play to end the inning. And it's a 6-3 double play. A perfectly hit ball to Metzger over at short on the bag, and that will end the inning. 1 run scores in the inning on 2 hits, 1 error, and 2 men left on base. We have played an inning and a half. It's a 3-1 lead here for the Eights. You're listening to Post-State Baseball, and today is KCCR, and today is KCCR.com. Just like at the top of the second, here at the bottom of the second, 7-8-9 for Harrisburg to lead things off. Chase Lucas, Ben Los, and Jack Tigan will be the first 3 hitters for the Harrisburg Tigers. Here's the first pitch from Stout to the first baseman and Chase Lucas, and it's over for strike 1. As you look at Chase Lucas's numbers, I'll try and find it here real quick. As Lucas has got the team lead in runs driven in with 20, as it's now 0-2, batting .259 on the season. 2 triples, 1 double, 15 hits, and 58 at-bats. Here's the 0-2 pitch. That one's inside, and it's now 1-2. He strikes out one of the least here on this team, as he has only struck out 6 times. Here's the 1-2 pitch. There's a ground ball to the right side. Coverdale field. The throw to first is in time, and the leadoff man is retired. Here to open up the bottom of the second.
Lucas hits into the 4-3 for
to bring
1,
in the designated hitter.
22, Ben Los.
Here's Ben Los. Los coming in at .294 batting average, 15 runs driven in, 3 bombs, 3 doubles, 15 hits, and 51 at-bats. First pitch is over for strike 1. Here to the number 8 hitter in Ben Los.
Yeah, and Stout had a little bit of a longer inning than you would hope for in that first innings. Pitch count up now right just under 30 pitches through an inning and a third, so he's a little higher than what you'd like to see right now. But he seems to have settled in and seems to have pretty good command of the strike zone so far.
Count is 2-1 here to Los. The right-handed hitting DH in the number 8 spot here for Harrisburg. 2-1 pitch. That one's a curveball that will miss outside the zone. Now 3-1. On deck, number 9 hitter Jack Tigan.
And against a power hitting team like Harrisburg, if you're going to be effective, you really need to have your second and third pitches working. Your off speed stuff really needs to work because, in all likelihood, this is a team in Harrisburg that is going to sit on a fastball. We talked about how many home runs they've hit, and so you probably are going to see them sit on fastballs. And so if you can establish that fastball and show them that you can throw it for strikes, it makes that second and third pitch all that much more effective.
Garrett Stout's able to come back down 3-1 the count and get 2 swings and misses, and it's a strikeout of Los, and it's now the third strikeout of the ball game for Stout. Here's Jack Tigan. The first pitch is a swing and a miss, and it's 0-1 to the left fielder. And as Greg, as you said, they established the fastball as the 0-1 is outside now 1-1. They're going to check him, and he did not swing. But then that 3-2 pitch was probably ball 4. It was up towards the eyes, but it makes it more effective, that fastball up in the zone. And that one's up in the zone again and a swing and a miss, and it's now 1-2. I think a lot of these Harrisburg Tiger hitters are trying to jump on a fastball when they see it. And as you said, Greg, where you can locate that fastball. 1-2 pitch. That one's just a bit outside, now 2-2. Stout started to slide step to the dugout. Matt Lusk was following him from center field. But we'll do it again, and the count is now at 2-2. Here's the pitch from Stout. That one is also outside, now 3-2. Leadoff hitter Tyson Kogel is on deck for Harrisburg.
Yeah, Stout looks at least in this at bat that he's kind of staying on the outside part of the plate, trying to stay away from Tigan.
And the 3-2, that one is missed, and it's a 2-out walk from 0-2, and a good job there from 1-2. Tigan's able to draw the walk, and here is Tyson Kogel. Kogel is 0-1. He grounded to the second baseman, covered on his first at bat to lead off the bottom of the first inning. Ball State leads 3-1 here in the bottom of the second. First pitch to Kogel. That one misses inside for ball 1.
Yeah, and actually not a bad pitch if you allow Kogel to dig in. I mean, he got his feet moving on that pitch, and that's sometimes some of the science is just not letting the hitter get too comfortable in the box.
The 1-0 is an all speed that just misses outside. Now 2-0. Here to the third baseman, leadoff man in the order. Runner on first with 2 down. That is Tigan off the 2-out walk. Trying to put some stuff together here for Harrisburg to try and claw back down 3-1. Here the 2-0 misses down low and inside, and the count is now 3-0. And on deck is Zeb Weedy, who doubled and scored back in the first inning. From the stretch, the 3-0 pitch, that one will miss, and it's a 4-pitch walk. And back-to-back walks have a man in score position now for Harrisburg.
Brings up number 20, Zeb Weedy.
And here is Weedy, who is 1 for 1. And Cade Hinkle will make his way out to talk with Garrett Stout. Stout looked like he was cruising through those first two batters, and now all of a sudden he's found himself in danger here in the bottom of the second.
Yeah, and I think this is just where you just kind of have to take a deep breath if you're Garrett Stout. Just take a deep breath and just kind of refocus and go attack the hitter. Forget about the 2 walks and just start over like there's nobody on base and just go back and again just be aggressive right now. Just say it's almost mano a mano. Just go out and take it right at the number 2 hitter in the Harrisburg lineup.
Stout will come set. Here's the first pitch to Zeb Weedy. That one misses outside. Oh, that's going to catch the corner, and it's now 0-1.
Yeah, and Stout's been right around the plate. I mean, it's not like he's been all over the place. I mean, when he's missed, he's not missed by much. So I don't see that's a bad sign for him.
Stout will come set. Here is the 0-1 pitch to Weedy. That one misses outside, and I'm for sure about that one missing outside. And it's now 1-1. Usually, we're so used to hearing a lot of these umpires make a big, loud strike call. This umpire is very quiet if he's making that strike call, and he's very slow to pull the trigger on the strike. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That one is over for a strike, too. Don't have to wait for a signal on that one. And the count is now 1-2 to Zeb Weedy.
Yeah, and ahead in the count again. This is a point where you really don't want to nibble, and you don't want to give away a pitch here, but you certainly don't have to throw a perfect strike right here.
1-2 pitch, way outside, 2-2 to Weedy in the runner at first and second here with 2 down in the bottom of the second inning. A 2-run lead for Post States. Stout will come set from the stretch. Checks the runner at second. Here's the 2-2. There's a curveball that Weedy was well behind in a defensive swing that he had a one-hopper into the first base dugout over there for Harrisburg, but he stays alive for at least one more pitch.
Yeah, luckily that ball was kind of down toward the end of the dugout because you saw a couple of the Harrisburg players cover up and dart back to the back of the dugout. They were up at the rail, but they scattered pretty quickly.
2-2 pitch is a swing and a miss by Weedy, and that will be strike 3. And Stout will get another 2 strikeouts here in the second inning. No runs, no hits, no errors. 2 men left on base. We've played 2 complete. And it's a 3-1 lead for Post State. You're listening to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. Top of the third, 4, 5, and 6 here for Post State as they lead 3-1 over Harrisburg. Andy Gordon, River Iverson, and Cade Hinkle. John Wickler alongside Greg Dean, socially distanced here in this game as Greg is just outside the press box. I am inside the press box, and that was not. I was not trying to be mean to Greg, and I'm not mad at Greg by any means. Just how it is here today. As Gordon will ground the first pitch, that one will be thrown into the dugouts as Gordon had that infield hit, but then Metzger ended up launching it over the first baseman's head and Lucas, and it will be now a runner at second here with nobody out. And for Metzger, probably been better just to hold that on and let Gordon get that infield single.
Yeah, and that was a play where it was just a kind of a routine ground ball right back up the middle, and Metzger made a good play to get and actually gloved the ball over behind second base, but when he did, he kind of bobbled it just a little bit and tried to do too much and tried to make a play where there really wasn't one and threw it into the dugout, and with that, actually ends up being probably 2. I don't know if you call it hitting an error or 2 errors.
I would say be a hitting an error because I think Gordon was going to be safe on a good throw from Metzger. As Gordon will lead away from second. There's a bunt down the third base line. It'll be fielded with no play, and Gordon's over at third, and Iverson has another bunt single, and he is on for the second time, and it's first and third here with nobody out, which will bring up Cade Hinkle. And just another perfectly placed bunt from River Iverson, and one way or the other, he was moving Gordon 90 feet up to third.
Yeah, and so the Eights again here in the third have a threat going like they did in the first 2 innings. This time they've got runners at the corners and nobody out.
Here is Cade Hinkle. He struck out swinging in his first at bat. He's going to try and bunt. It was a safety squeeze and he misses, and it's 0-1. Safety squeeze with Gordon not moving until that bunt is placed down. Suicide squeeze. We saw that with West Fargo. The runner was taken off for third, and the guy missed the bunt, but still ended up able to score as Hinkle ended up dropping the ball on the tag, as it's now 0-2 here to Hinkle.
Yeah, big at bat here. If Hinkle can again, as a left-hander, really what you're looking to do is ideally put a ball on the right side, a big hole on the right side of the infield.
Henkel will drive it to the right side, but it'll be fouled just past the first base dugout. And it remains at 0-2.
Big hole on the right side of the infield, or get something into the outfield for with a sacrifice fly deep enough that could score Gordon from third.
It's imperative here for Post State to add to this lead with the runners at the corners and nobody out. Here's the 0-2 that's floated into left field for a base hit. And Andy Gordon will come in to score. It's now a 4-1 lead here for Post State in the top of the third inning.
And the bats that went silent over the weekend have woken up sometime in the last 48 hours, 72 hours, John. We didn't play Sunday. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. And, the Eights have put 4 runs on the board here in less than 3 innings. That's almost equal to their entire output over 3 games over the weekend over in Humboldt.
And I mentioned that here in the lineup, we had 7 hits through those 9 guys in the lineup from this past weekend. We got 7 hits here with nobody out in the top of the third inning for Post State. They have a 4-1 lead. Here's Matt Lusk. The first pitch to him is going to be over at the knees for strike 1. He is 0 for 0 with a strikeout. And we'll have a conference at the mound. Long and Simmons. I think Long was expecting another pitch to be coming in. And so the fact that he was able to make the catch and keep that from going to the backstop is pretty remarkable. Because as soon as he made that catch and how he made that catch just kind of gave you the idea, and then him walking out to talk to the pitcher and Simmons made it pretty obvious that somebody did not have the right sign. Here's the 0-1 pitch as Lusk will show bunt. He will drop it down and it'll be foul. He had to jump out of the way of the ball on the backspin coming back. And the count is now 0-2 here to Matt Lusk, and he will most likely try and swing now.
Yeah, and you wondered if maybe the bunt sign was on at some time in this at bat with runners on first. You'd like to get those runners into scoring position, especially with Jack Van Camp, who doubled in his first at bat of the day.
So here's the 0-2 pitch from Simmons to Matt Lusk. And Lusk will poke it to the right side. It'll be fielded by the first baseman. The throw to second is going to get into left field. It goes off the shortstop's glove. And River Iverson will come in to score. And it's now a 5-1 lead here for Post State. Hinkle is safe at second. And there's one down for Jack Van Camp.
And another error on Harrisburg. It looks like that's the 4th one of the game for the Tigers. And so Post State taking advantage of the miscues really needs to continue to hit the ball hard and make those errors hurt for Harrisburg.
Jack Van Camp up at the plate. The first pitch to him, he swings and misses, and it's 0-1. He doubled and scored in the second inning. Came around on the RBI single from Garrett Stout to push it to a 3-1 lead. Post State has scored twice here in the top of the third. They lead 5-1 with 1 out. As Simmons will come set from the stretch. The 0-1 will bounce in, and Hinkle will get to third base as that one got away from Long up the first base line, and he had to he had to move around Van Camp because Van Camp stood still, and it's now a runner on third here with 1 out, and the count is 1-1. The count is 1-1 here.
And Van Camp is a left-handed batter. Again, same formula: ground ball on the right-hand side or fly ball.
As that one will be fielded by the pitcher, and the throw to first is in time. And it's now 2 down. And here's A.J. Gayden trying to drive in at least one more run here.
Number 21, A.J. Gayden.
As Hinkle is on at third base. The infield came all the way in, all the way around came in for any ground ball to try and keep Hinkle from scoring. Here's the first pitch to Gayden. That's outside for ball 1. He reached on an error in the second inning, was stranded at third. As Post State stranded 2 runners in the second inning, stranded 1 here in the first. 1-0 swing and a miss, and it's now 1-1.
Good off-speed pitch by Simmons on that pitch. Just had Gayden out in front of that one on his front foot, and so now that he's shown Gayden both the fastball and the curveball, we'll see what comes on the third pitch.
1-1 is grounded to the left side, fielded by the third baseman Kogel. The throw to first is in the dirt and not scooped by the first baseman Lucas. And it's now another run that will score. It's now 6-1 here for Post State. As that'll be another error here in the ballgame for Harrisburg. That's their 3rd of the inning and 5th of the ballgame.
Simmons has allowed 6 runs so far. Only 3 of them have been earned. So you got to feel for Simmons. He's actually pitched a respectable ball game, but right now his defense is just betraying him.
The first pitch, that one will actually get into center field as Stout swung and missed, and the pitch was in the dirt. Gaden took off late, and the throw came into second, came high, got into center, but Gaden had to stay at second. So the count is 0-1.
Yeah, and that's the hit and run play that Coach White likes to put on with a lot of regularity, and just a time when the Stout swing to protect the runner going from first to second. And now the Eights have another runner in scoring position, and Garrett Stout, who as we talked about, leads the team in most offensive categories, comes in hitting .404 on the year, 40 hits and 99 at bats. 10 doubles. He leads the team in hits with 40, doubles with 10, tied for the team lead in triples with 3, 4 home runs, 4 of the 10 home runs on the year to Garrett Stout, 18 RBIs, tied for the team lead in runs with 30, to go along with 9 walks and 10 strikeouts on the year.
Long and Simmons had a conversation, as now Simmons will come set. The 0-1 pitch almost hit Stout. I'm not sure how he was able to dodge out of that, and it's now 1-1.
He kind of made like a jackknife and just kind of bent in the middle on that one.
That was pretty good.
Thank you.
The count is 1-1 here to Stout. I'm impressed.
Well, let's see if he can be a Swiss Army knife on this one and just do something a little different. I mean, he's a jack of all trades. He pitches, he hits, he fields, he just does everything. We'll call it a Swiss Army knife.
Count is 1-2 here to Stout, as Simmons will appear in for the sign. He'll come set and deliver here the 1-2 pitch. Stout will take inside now, 2-2.
Yeah, and just a long inning for Simmons. You gotta feel for him. Even though he has, he's been relatively efficient with his pitch count. He's up over 50 pitches through 3 innings, through 2 2/3 so far, and he's turned around to the top of the Pierre lineup now for the 3rd time already, and we're just 3 innings into the game.
Simmons again will come set. Actually, he will call for Long to come out and talk to him and get reset on the signs again. With the runner at second, most likely Long's putting down a couple of different signs, and they can't come together on maybe what number sign they're going with.
Yeah, and it's probably not a good indication that when your pitcher and catcher are have had multiple trips to the mound to try to figure things out. That's probably a tough situation for and you kind of wonder what's going on if you're one of the Harrisburg. If you're the Harrisburg coaching staff, you got to be just a little bit scratching your head that they aren't on the same page, especially at this point in the season. This is their 33rd game. Harrisburg comes in 20-12 on the year.
Gaden was off of the pitch. Stout fouled it down the third base side. The Kogel gave chase, but did not have enough time to get underneath that ball as the count. It's still a 2-2. Here's the 2-2 pitch again. Stout will pop it up, and it'll get fouled out of play. And go behind us, and the count remains at 2-2.
Yeah, the way the press box is set up here, we're right behind home plate with just some netting and no overhang. So this is your opportunity to get that all coveted foul ball you've been looking for all year, John.
I've been looking for it for almost 2 years now. Still haven't got it. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Instead, a check over to the second base. Gaden, that will go off of the helmet of Gaden. He'll take off for third. He's going to get to third base. So another error in the inning from Harrisburg has allowed Gaden to take third, and he's 90 feet away from scoring.
Yeah, and just again, an unfortunate play for Harrisburg. They actually had a shot at picking Gaden off. Simmons pivoted, and Metzger snuck in behind him, and might have had a shot at putting the tag on Gaden, but the throw went off of Gaden's helmet into short left field, and he pops up right away and ends up at third base.
The 2-2 is upstairs, and now it's 3-2. And on deck is Lincoln Keenholz. 4 errors in the inning here for Harrisburg. That is now 6 in the ball game. And Greg mentioned that first infield single from Stout almost goes down as a mental error. That would be number 7, as Stout will swing and miss, and then we'll go down on strikes to end the top of the third inning. 3-run score on 3 hits, 4 errors in the inning, and 1 man left on base. We have played 2.5. It is now a 6-1 lead here for the Eights. You're listening to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. Peyton Metzger swings and misses at the first pitch here in the bottom of the third. 3, 4, and 5 for Harrisburg. Metzger, Rayburn, and Long in the first 3 hitters. Here's the 0-1. Instead, time is called. Actually, time was never, Metzger had his hand back 4 times, so there was no pitch going to be allowed. And now we're ready for the 0-1 pitch from Stout to Metzger. That one it will miss low for ball 1, the off speed. The count is even here at a ball and a strike. Stout from the windup. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That one will get over at the letters, and it's now 1-2 to Peyton Metzger. He singled and got to second on an error by Jack Van Camp out in right field, which drove in the first run of the ball game. Here's the 1-2 pitch. That one will be outside. Metzger checked his swing. Henkel got up, ready to throw it over to Gaden at third base. Instead, here's the 2-2 pitch. That one will miss down low, and it's now a full count, 3-2.
Yeah, Henkel was ready to pull the trigger because he thought that was going to be called strike 3, and unfortunately now for post 8, they're at a full count.
3-2 is fouled straight back, and we'll do it again at a full count at 3-2.
Yeah, and again, with a 5-run lead, what Garrett Stout, veteran presence on the mound, he just needs to just throw strikes, just make Harrisburg, especially a team that swings the bat hard and tries for the long ball. I mean, they're going to be aggressive, especially now because they're probably a little bit frustrated. And so if you can dial in and throw strikes, Stout's in an enviable position right now, and hopefully he can cruise through the middle innings of this game.
It was a leadoff walk to Metzger. The fourth walk issued by Garrett Stout. As the first pitch is outside for ball 1 to Jack Rayburn, who struck out looking in his first at-bat. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That one's fouled out of play on the right side, and it's now 1-1. Stout's got 2 strikeouts in each of the first 2 innings. He has walked 1 in the first, 2 in the second, and now here the leadoff man in the third. Looking for him to potentially go all 7. The only way that he does not go all 7 as the 1-1 is bounced in, now 2-1, is if they try and keep him under the 3 days rest or under the 4 days rest so he can come back and throw on Saturday, although he's got to stay under 2 days rest. Oh yeah, he can if they want to throw him against 22, he'd have to stay under 2 days rest. So that one's fouled back, and it's now 2-2. All my days up, and the new schedule change has got everything thrown off of what their plan probably was for post 8.
If he's gonna cruise through 7 complete, he's gonna have to have a couple of quick innings. This will be his 60th pitch of the game.
That one's flown out to right field. Van Camp going back. He'll make the catch, and that will be the first out here in the bottom of the third inning. As I'll bring in Timon Long, who walked in his first plate appearance.
The kind of ironic piece of all of this is that even though Stout is only gone through 2 1/3 innings, and Simmons has gone through 3 complete, and Simmons has given up 6 runs. They actually have almost identical pitch counts. The biggest difference is that Simmons has not walked a batter yet, and Stout has walked 4, and so those walks will really drive your pitch count up.
Count is 1-0 here to Timon Long. He was one of those 4 walks so far. The 1-0 pitch is a swing and a miss, and is now 1-1. Post State was originally going to play Rapid City Post 22 on Saturday, but instead now they play Sioux Falls West Thursday and 22 Hard Hats on Friday in that Veterans Classic. 1-1 pitch. That one will miss low, and it's now 2-1. First game is at 10:30 on Thursday. That is 10:30 Mountain Time, so 11:30 Central Time. It'll be followed by Pierre will play Post 320 Shooters, then be followed by Sioux Falls West. That'll end their day on Thursday. As the 2-1 is out towards left field. Iverson's going to go back on it. He'll make the catch as the wind hangs it up there for enough time for Iverson to make the catch. There's now 2 down. And that'll bring in Chase Mason. On Friday, they will play the final 2 games, which will be at 7 o'clock Central Time. That is if everything stays on schedule. There's 3 games ahead of it. And then we'll face the Hard Hats to finish out Friday night. That's scheduled for an 8 o'clock Mountain Time start. So it's going to be a late night Central Time-wise for everybody to stay up and listen to this ball game. As the first pitch to Chase Mason's over for strike 1. And then their lone game on Saturday will be at 1 o'clock Mountain Time, 2 o'clock Central against Gillette. And then it all depends on how they do, but they will play on Sunday. It's not a if they play on Sunday, it's when they will play on Sunday, whether they go 0-5 or 5-0. As the 0-1's the swing and a miss. Now 0-2 to Chase Mason. He struck out swinging in his first at-bat. Quickly down already in the count, 0-2.
And as you said, John, with a young man who leads this Harrisburg team in strikeouts, you're up 0-2. What you don't want to do is give him something to hit. I mean, what you want to do is give him something that hopefully is out of the zone that he can chase at this point. And unfortunately, that pitch, probably not a bad pitch, just kind of up in the zone, got away from Hinkle, and the runner moves down to second base.
So now here's the 1-2 pitch to Mason. Swing and a miss, and Stout gets Mason down on strikes again, and that will end the bottom of the 3rd inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 man left on base. We've played 3 full as a 6-1 lead here for the Eights. You're listening to Post 8 Baseball. Today is KCCR, and today is KCCR.com. Here in the top of the 4th inning, it is Lincoln Keenels, Andrew Coverdale, and Andy Gordon. 2, 3, and 4 here for Post State as they have a 6-1 lead over the Harrisburg Tigers. John Winkler alongside Greg Dean. And Greg, this has been a good start for Post State. They've taken advantage of the errors that Harrisburg has had. They've had 6 errors so far as Harrisburg, and they've got 6 runs. Does Post State. First pitch is over for a strike 1 to Lincoln Keenels from Will Simmons.
And I think what you're looking for is if you're the Harrisburg coaching staff, you're probably pretty frustrated by this start. I mean, having a full week off, and maybe that's part of the reason, John, is that maybe there's just a little bit of rust after not playing for a week. That maybe they just were just a little bit out of sorts coming into the game.
The 0-2 is chopped to the third baseman Kogel. The throw to first is in time, and the leadoff man is retired here to open up the top of the 4th inning. And that will bring up Andrew Coverdale, who was 1 for 2 with an RBI.
5-3, crowd number 1, now batting number 15, Andrew Coverdale.
The Coverdale and Gordon, if anybody gets on base, River Iverson will be the next man to hit as we closing in the 6 o'clock hour here in Harrisburg. Not too many doubleheaders left on the schedule. Regular season is less than 2 weeks away from being done, as the first pitch to Coverdale is upstairs for ball one. And go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, we got the tournament in Rapid this weekend, and then doubleheader next Wednesday up in Mandan. That'll be a late night for all of us.
Yes, 5:30 start time of that doubleheader in Mandan, as the count is now 2-0. But we also had a 5:30 start time when they came down to Pierce, so I guess fair is fair. We just wish that it was unfair in terms for them being unfair and way over fair for us. The 2-0 pitch is now 3-0. I don't know if over fair is a word.
I'm all about being unfair when it's in my favor.
that is right. Got us 3-0 here to Andrew Coverdale.
Especially when it means 3.5 hour drives in the middle of the night.
That is right. Here's the 3-0 pitch to Andrew Coverdale. That one is over for strike one, and it's now 3-1. We've kind of been spoiled with some of these road games. This is the latest start of a road game we've had that hasn't been a tournament since maybe we went to Rapid City Post 22 on a Friday evening. I mean, everything's been during the day. The 3-1 pitch is chopped to the third baseman. Kogel again on the run. The throw is in time, and he's made two good plays over at third to retire the first two hitters here in the top of the fourth.
Yeah, and again, I think we talked about the fact that even though there's 6 errors on the board for Harrisburg tonight, I mean, you can kind of see that now here in the fourth inning, they're kind of getting their legs underneath them a little bit. So it probably was just a little bit of rust after not having played for 7 days.
First pitch is taken for a strike one to Andy Gordon. He is 1 for 2. He singled in the third to lead off the third inning, and then got to second on the air on the throw from Metzger. It was an infield single. As that one's chopped to the third base side again, Kogel's got a chance to make all 3 plays. The throw to first is in time, and he has made all 3 plays in the fourth inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, no one left on base. We have played at 3.5. It is a 6-1 lead here for Post State over Harrisburg. You're listening to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. First pitch is taken for strike one to Chase Lucas. He grounded out to the second baseman, Coverdale in his first at bat. The 0-1's is swinging a miss, and it's now 0-2 to the first baseman. 7, 8, 9 here for Harrisburg in the bottom of the fourth. They trail Post 8 by 5, 6-1. As they have had just 2 hits so far in this ball game. Here's the 0-2 pitch. That one's fouled back, and it remains at 0-2. And their first 2 hits were in the second and third batter of the game for Harrisburg. They've had 4 walks since then, but those have been the only base runners for Harrisburg. The 0-2, that one's upstairs, now 1-2. Stout with 5 strikeouts so far through 3 innings. And Greg, as you said in the commercial break between at the end of the third and the top of the fourth, as the 1-2 is over for strike 3, and there's a third strike and the 6th strikeout of the ball game for Stout. As Los will come to the plate, Ben Los, the designated hitter. It's Stout's got to get a lot quicker of innings to try and go all 7 here tonight in game 1.
Yeah, this is his 70th pitch of the game so far, and he is a 3 1/3 innings into the game. So at this pace, he's likely to only get through 5, maybe into the 6th if he's lucky, unless he gets a couple of quick innings under his belt in the meantime.
The 0-1 pitch misses upstairs and inside to the designated hitter, and it's now 1-1. And time again has been called as the home plate umpire believe.
Yeah, I don't think the batter was set. I think time had been called, and Stout started to go into his windup, and he acknowledged the umpire and just kind of patted his chest. Stout patted his chest and just said, "Yeah, it's my fault. I got a little too anxious."
Here's the 1-1 is fouled back, and it's now 1-2. And Stout likes to work quick. He's not one that likes to stand around too much. If he's got the chance, as soon as he's got the chance, he's ready to throw. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, and back-to-back strikeouts here to open up the fourth inning. 3 in a row, dating back to the third. And there's now 2 down here in the bottom of the fourth. And now bringing in Jack Tigan, the left fielder, who walked in his first plate appearance.
Yeah, and as a defender playing behind somebody like Garrett Stout, who does work quick, that's something that you really like to see. I mean, you're on your toes, you're in the game as a defensive player, and especially because with every pitch, you don't have time to let your attention span wander at all, and so if you're in the infield or the outfield, you really like playing behind those pitchers that really get the ball and have it ready to go and ready to take it back to home plate.
The 0-1 and misses upstairs. And it's now 1-1 here to Tigan. And, Stout and Zabel, probably the two quickest of the team. Van Kampen likes to work fast as well, as the 1-1 is over and is now 1-2 to Tigan. And Stout's a strike away from striking out the side in order here in the bottom of the fourth. Here's the 1-2 pitch. That one misses outside, now 2-2. This is the same spot that Stout had Tigan in the second inning. He had him down 1-2 in the count and ended up walking the next guy in Kogel as well. Here's the 2-2 pitch. That one's grounded to the right side, fielded by Coverdale over at second. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Garrett Stout. We've played 4 here in the Harrisburg, and Post State has a 6-1 lead. You're listening to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR, today's KCCR.com. As we welcome you back here, top of the fifth inning, Post State has a 6-1 lead, as it will be 5, 6, and 7 here. River Iverson, Cade Hinkle, and Matt Lusk due up, as that fourth inning we saw just 6 hitters come to the plate, and we saw only 3 different scenarios on those putouts. Post State all grounded out to the third baseman in the fourth inning, in the top of the fourth, and it was 2 strikeouts and a ground out to the second baseman. As Iverson will bunt the ball in the first pitch, he'll be back to the mound. The throw to first is going to go off of Iverson, and he's going to be safe over at first. That one's tough to see if that's going to be a hit or an error.
I think that's probably a base hit. It would have been a close play at first. I mean, it wasn't the toughest play, but for the pitcher Simmons to come off the mound and make. But in my opinion, that's probably a base hit.
They're going to give Iverson a base hit. Hinkle shows bunt, and that one first pitch is pulled back as it goes outside, and it's 1-0 here to Hinkle, who had an RBI single in his last stab at. He's 1 for 2. Post State leads 6-1 here in the top of the fifth inning. Leadoff man is aboard on the bunt single from Iverson. He'll take off of the pitch. The 1-0 is missed low. The throw is going to go wide of the bag at second, and a good job there by Weedy to make the catch. Otherwise, Iverson could have taken third base, as he will slide in safely at second. I don't even know if Iverson, when he dove head first to second, I don't know if he made it there right away. I think he might have almost a face plant into second base.
Yeah, and it looked like when Long came up throwing, Hinkle being in the left-handed batter's box, maybe had Long just a little bit distracted, and the throw kind of actually tailed away from Weedy when he was covering the bag, and he made, like you said, an athletic play to just snag that, and not allow that ball to go into right center field.
2-1 pitch. Hinkle shows bunt, pulls it back, and is taken for strike 2. And the count is now even here at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And it looked like Harrisburg had their bunt coverage on. First baseman was covering. Weedy was coming actually almost all the way from second base, where he was holding the runner, all the way over to cover first base in case there was a bunt that Hinkle was able to get down.
Count is now 3-2 as that goes upstairs. And Simmons is in danger of walking Hinkle, which would be his first walk of the ball game, and it will be his first walk. He did hit Lincoln Keenels, but that's the first walk issued of the ball game by Simmons. And surprise, surprise, as to Cade Hinkle, who leads the team in walks.
Yep, 22nd walk of the year. He now has doubled up the guy in second place, which is River Iverson. River has 11 walks. Hinkle has 22. So it's a and I think that's just probably something that you would expect. Cade being a veteran of this team, his third year up at the varsity level, and being a catcher, he has a good knowledge of the strike zone, and certainly understands what the umpire is looking for, having caught now through 3 innings.
Matt Lusk showing bunt, pulls it back, swings and misses the first pitch, and it's 0-1. The second baseman in Weedy was all the way already at first base. Lucas was charging in, so that right side was completely open for Matt Lusk to get a base hit without any possibility of being caught. As he'll show bunt again. He will bunt the ball down to towards third base, fielded by the pitcher and Simmons. The throw to first is in time. And Weedy caught it and then turned and back around and looked to right field for a quick second. Wonder if he actually made the catch, but it is a sacrifice. It is complete by Matt Lusk, and it's now second and third here with 1 down.
Yeah, and I don't know if that was whether he just didn't know if he had the ball in his glove for sure, or if that was an attempt at a decoy, but close play at first base. And credit Matt Lusk for getting down the line in a hurry.
Jack Van Camp will ground the first pitch back up the middle. The infield is drawn in, so 1 run will score, and a second run will come around and score as Van Camp is now 2 for 3 as he drives in 2 runs. It is now an 8-1 lead for Post State in the top of the 5th inning.
Yeah, and the old adage of anytime you draw the infield in, your batting average goes up 100 points, and that's exactly what happened right there. Just a kind of a soft ground ball that just was able to get out of the reach of Metzger, who dived at the last second. But he on a normally played infield where the infielders would be at their normal depth. That's probably a double play.
The first pitch is upstairs to AJ Gaden, and it's 1-0 here to the third baseman, who reached on an error in both of his first 2 at bats.
And as Simmons is about to throw his 80th pitch of the game, there is activity down in the Harrisburg bullpen.
The 1-0 is at the knees now, 1-1. As can't see the number of who it is for Harrisburg warming up. But yeah, as Greg said, there is action down the right field bullpen. Here's the 1-1 pitch to AJ Gaden. That one is over at the knees again, and it's now 1-2. You look over the third base side, over in left field, that bullpen, there is no wall between what ends up in the foul territory. There's no corner to it. So obviously if that gets through, if somehow that would be a base hit down the third base line, as Gaden will slice it foul, and it remains at 1-2, and end up being a ground rule double. Although that's a one hard hit ball down the third base line that really has to hit something out there in left field to try and get into the corner and get out of play.
Yeah, it's probably if it's going to get through the gate down there, it's probably from a left-hander that is throwing the ball on a big curve the other way.
The throw to first is not in time, and it will be over the third base. Will be Jack Van Camp. He was all for the pitch, so the second baseman Weedy was going to cover, and the ground ball went back to his left. So he had to go over to field it, and the throw to first was not in time, and it's an infield single for Gaydon. And taking third base on the throw was Jack Van Camp. He didn't even stop. He just turned around and kept moving. And if Weedy had seen that, he probably could have thrown Van Camp over out at third. But instead, here's Garrett Stout with first and third with one down. Here in the top of the fifth, trying to extend the 8-1 lead.
And for all the breaks that didn't go Post 8's way this weekend down in Harrisburg, they're getting a lot of breaks today. Like you said, just a softly hit ground ball that with the runner moving, Weedy was off towards second base, and he actually had to turn and do a 180. And I was kind of surprised he actually was able to get a glove on the ball and almost made a play at first base. But now the Eights have runners at the corners with one out.
Gaydon was off for the pitch. He steals second without a throw. The pitch was taken for a strike, and the count is now even at a ball and a strike to Garrett Stout, who is 2 for 3 so far, 2 singles and a strikeout. The infield will come all the way in again. 1-1 pitch. That one is over, and it's now 1-2. And Stout's got to protect. And a ground ball or a hard hit ball somewhere on the infield could get through a lot easier, but that infield drawn in again.
Yeah. Single here probably puts the Eights up by 9.
That was a high chopper. That one's fielded by the third baseman. The throw towards the plate, and Van Camp is tagged out. And it's now first and third here with 2 down. And so the runners will remain at the corners for Lincoln Keenholz on the fielder choice.
Yeah, and that's a tough play. Just a chopper down the line, and it's almost a contact kind of play where Van Camp just took off with once the ball was hit, and you kind of hope that maybe the ball bounces high enough that either the third baseman doesn't have a play at home or gets over his head. And as far as luckily for Harrisburg, Kogel was able to glove the ball and gun Van Camp at the plate by a step, and so now Lincoln Keenholz needs to come through with 2 outs and runners on the corners to keep this rally going.
Simmons will come set from the stretch. Here's the first pitch instead of check over at Stout, and he dives back in safely. Keenholz is 0 for 2 so far, 0 for 1 in a sacrifice bunt. He was hit by a pitch and grounded to the third baseman in his 3 trips to the plate. Stout is off of the first pitch. Keenholz will pop it up on the right side. It's going to be foul and out of play, and it's 0-1. Base hit. If Stout goes in motion, or even if he ends up getting to second before the ball is put into play, he could score on a base hit from Keenholz. Gaydon's over at third. First and third here with 2 down. At the top of the fifth inning, 8-1 lead here for Post State. Simmons will come from the stretch. Here's the 0-1. That one is over for strike 2, and the count is now 0-2 to the shortstop here in Lincoln Keenholz. Outfield straight away for the shortstop. Wind still blowing in from center field. Stout takes off for a second, and he's going to take second base as Simmons just gives up on him because he was not wanting A.J. Gain to take off for home. Stout was looking back and slowing down to try and get himself into a pickle. Here's the 0-2 pitch. That one misses upstairs, and it's now 1-2 here to Keenholz. The base hit now would make it a 10-1 lead for Post State.
Yeah, and with 2 outs, both runners are off on contact, so any kind of a base hit, Stout should score easily.
Keenholz will pop it up on the left side. The shortstop and Metzger will call for it. He'll make the catch, and that will retire the side here in the top of the fifth. 2 more runs score here for Post State with 3 hits in the inning. There were no errors and 2 men left on base. After 4.5, it is an 8-1 lead here for the Eights over Harrisburg. You listen to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. Bottom of the fifth inning, top of the order for Harrisburg. It is a 8-1 lead for the Eights over the Tigers as it's Kogel and Metzger. First pitch from Garrett Stout is missed for ball one. Kogel is 0 for 1. He grounded out to the second baseman in the first inning and drew a walk in the second. Harrisburg has not had a hit base hit since the bottom of the first inning as that one's fouled back, and it's now an even at a ball and a strike.
Yeah, 84th pitch of the day for Garrett Stout. You'd really like to see him get through this inning and at least get an out or two into the sixth inning. I'm not quite sure who would probably be coming in relief. If he's able to get through this inning and get into the sixth, the likelihood of him throwing a complete game at this point is not very good right now.
There's a fly ball out towards right field. Van Camp's going back on it. He'll turn and watch it sail just to the left of the foul pole, and it's a home run, a leadoff home run for Tyson Kogel. And it's an 8-2 lead now for Post States. And the first hits since the bottom of the first inning for Harrisburg. For Tyson Kogel, that is his second home run of the season. And now his sixth run driven in as over against Weedy. So the top three hitters have the 3 hits so far for Harrisburg, with 2 runs driven in. One that Stout just hung up there, and the 25th home run of the season for Harrisburg. First pitch, that one's skied out to center field. Matt Lusk, though, with the wind catching that. He'll barely have to move. And a good bounce back pitch from Stout. And there's the first out here in the bottom of the fifth, and now bring in Peyton Metzger.
Yeah, one pitch, one out. I mean, that's what you like to see as a pitcher, especially. And I think that's something obviously that Coach White likes to see from the dugout, because again, if you can get Stout through the fifth inning and into the sixth inning, it just takes that much more stress off of your relief pitcher.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. That one's fouled back to the netting, and it's now 0-2 to Peyton Metzger, who was 1 for 1. He singled, got to second on an air, and he walked to open up the bottom of the third. On deck is Jack Rayburn. Here's the 0-2 pitch. That one's just fouled off the end of the bats by Metzger and off of Hinkle, and it remains at 0-2. And with the 8-2 lead right now, if it's a 3-2 game or a 4-2 game, you probably see Matt Lusk, but being up by 6, and for Post State, you hope that you can add to it as they count, or is it now 1-2 as that one misses just inside. But you hope that you can add to that lead, and then it opens up who you can throw in that 6th and 7th inning. 1-2 pitch, just misses outside, now 2-2. Here to the number 3 hitter in Peyton Metzger.
Yeah, that pitch didn't miss by much. I mean, that looked like a corner that the ump had been given all day long, and so Stout throws a curveball to the same spot, and that time gets the call.
Hey, you moved that in just a little bit, and that was taken for strike 3, and the 7th strikeout of the ball game now for Garrett Stout.
I see Jake Mayer working on the bands down by the Post State bullpen. I wonder if he will be the go-to guy if Stout hits his pitch count, which right now he is at 92 pitches through 5 2/3.
Count is now 2-0 here to Jack Rayburn, who is 0 for 2 so far. Yeah, if you can get out of this inning and maybe get a couple quick outs in the top of the 6th, that can really help whoever you throw in the bottom of the 6th inning into the 7th. The 2-0 is outside now, 2-1, as that one catches the plate. And by all means, looked like that was going to be ball 3 to Rayburn. Instead, here's a 2-1 pitch from Stout to Rayburn. That one will miss, and it's now 3-1. And Coach Nas telling Jake Mayer to move a little bit quicker. Stout's running out of pitches here in the bottom of the 5th. Here's the 3-1 pitch. That one misses outside, and it's a walk to Rayburn. 5th walk issued, first since the leadoff hitter in the bottom of the 3rd.
Timon Long.
And here is Timon Long, the catcher, who is 0 for 1. Walked in the 1st and flew out to the left fielder Iverson back in the 3rd.
Yeah, and we talked about the fact that if Garrett Stout has had an Achilles heel today, it has been the walks. That's his fifth one that he's issued on the day, and those have just driven that pitch count up a little higher than what you'd like to see at this point in the game. He's 4 2/3 innings into the game and already close to 100 pitches.
First pitch is over for strike one, 2 and long. And so, yeah, Jake Mayer warming up and trying to finish, would be the man to try and finish out the ball game, or at least be the bridge guy between Stout and whoever would finish it, as the 0-1 is foul back and is now 0-2. Here's the number 5 hitter, and long. Rayburn on at first. Stout will come set. Here is the 0-2 to long. Curveball that misses upstairs, and it's now 1-2.
Pitch number 101 there for Garrett Stout.
So this becomes a big at-bat, because as Coach White now will come out and talk with Stout, as a ball from the dugout, from the bullpen got away. And
this is probably a move to try to buy some time for Jake Mayer to get warm down there. If Stout is not able to retire long, and he does hit that 105 number on his pitch count, Coach White will have no choice but to bring Jake Mayer in. And so I think this visit to the mound is simply an effort to allow Jake Mayer to get 3 or 4, maybe 5 extra warm-up pitches in down in the bullpen.
So White will slowly make his way back to the third base dugout. Stout with a 1-2 count. Will come set from the stretch. Here's the 1-2 pitch. That one's outside, now 2-2. And this would most likely be Stout's last batter, one way or the other. Stout will come set from the stretch. Here is now the 2-2 pitch. That one will miss. Now 3-2. Runner will kick off on the delivery from Stout. Stout's going to find a way to finish out the 5th inning. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. Misses outside, and it's a 2-out walk, back-to-back walks.
Long with the 2-out walk.
And now bring in Chase Mason.
Brings to the plate number 24, Chase Mason.
And it looks like that will be it for Stout. It will be, as White makes his way out to the mound. And we'll tell you what the changes are here as Jake Mayer comes into the ball game. You're listening. We'll be back in a minute. You're listening to Post State Baseball. Today is KCCR, and today is KCCR.com. Jake Mayer is on the mound here for Post State with 2 down here at the bottom of the 5th. Lincoln Keenholz will move to third base. Garrett Stout will move to shorts, and Mayer will be in the spot for A.J. Gayden, who is now out of the ball game. As Mayer will look for 7 outs here in this game to try and close it out for Post State as they lead 8-2 over Harrisburg. John Winkler alongside Greg Dean, and the first man he's got to face is Chase Mason, who is tied for the team lead in home runs.
Number 13, Jake Mayer.
But he is 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts.
And Stout leaves in an enviable position as he is responsible for the 2 runners on base here in the bottom of the 5th, but he does leave with an 8-2 lead. So he can get the win. He cannot get the loss if Harrisburg were to come back and find a way to take this game here late. But Jake Mayer comes into the game. This is his 6th appearance. He has started 1 game. He is 2-1 on the year. He comes into the game with 13 strikeouts and a 3.50 ERA on the year. He is fourth on the team in innings pitched and fourth on the team in appearances so far.
First pitch misses outside to Chase Mason, and it's 1-0 to the left-hander. Here's the 1-0 pitch, swing and a miss. A pitch in the turf, and it's now 1-1. And again, with Mason now with 43 strikeouts in the season, 2 here in this ball game. This, although he can go deep, a third of his hits have gone for a home run. He is a guy that you can get a strikeout and get some confidence going right away, and to finish out the bottom of the 5th inning as the 1-1 is a swing and a miss, and it's now 1-2. And if you're Mayer, probably not putting this one in the strike zone, making either Mason take it or Chase. Here with 2 strikes. Mayer the long pause. He'll come set. And here is the 1-2 pitch to Mason. Outside, 2-2.
Yeah, you want Chase here. Sorry, I couldn't leave that one alone.
Count is even at 2-2 here with 2 outs. First and second. 8-2 is our score here in the bottom of the 5th. Mayer comes set. Here's the 2-2 pitch. That one will be bounced in and like a block from Hinkle. Chase does not offer at it, and the count is full. The runners will be off the pitch. Didn't fall for the same thing that you did, Greg. Mayer comes set. Here comes the 3-2 to Chase Mason. It's on its way. The swing and a miss, and Mayer gets Mason to strike out for the 3rd time in the ball game, and that will end the 5th inning. 1 run on a 1 hit. That was the home run by Kogo to lead off the bottom of the 5th. There was no errors in the inning and 2 men left on base. We have played 5 full innings. Post State has a 6-run lead over Harrisburg, 8-2. You listen to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. Top of the 6th inning here for Post State as they will have 3, 4, and 5. Andrew Coverdale, Andy Gordon, and River Iverson to lead things off. Jake Mayer's into the number 9 spot for A.J. Gayton. That'll be his first at-bat sometime here in the 6th or 7th. I guess we could potentially see him bat. If we go 1, 2, 3 in each of the 6th and 7th inning, we will have then Jake Mayer won't get a chance to have a plate appearance. Coming into the ball game to pitch, it is going to be Jack Tigan. So Tigan
now pitching for Harrisburg, Jack Tigan,
who was the
in left field.
Left fielder.
6, Ethan Rollinger.
And Rollinger will move in to the lineup.
And I think there is, again, some activity down in the Post State bullpen. I think that's Lincoln Keenholz is up throwing now just to get warm in case Jake Mayer might run into any trouble. Obviously, this is an important doubleheader, and so you always want to be ready with a live arm in case something might happen that goes awry for Post State.
Here's the second pitch to Andrew Coverdale. That misses inside. And the count is even at a ball and a strike to Coverdale, who is 1 for 3 so far. And Keenholz had a great performance on that Saturday against West Central. He retired all 9 men that he faced as Coverdale rips this one into left field and going back. Rollinger right into the gate, makes the catch. Leadoff man is retired. That ball seems to find everybody that comes in the ball game right away. But he makes the play, and there's one down.
Yeah, and even though the wind is generally blowing in, I mean, the ball seems to be carrying fairly well today. That was a ball that coming off the bat did not look like it was struck overly well, but carried into fairly deep left field.
Here's Andy Gordon. The first pitch to him is over for strike one. Gordon is 1 for 3. He singled back in the third inning. In that fourth inning, he was part of that those 2, 3, and 4 hitters that all grounded to the third baseman. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Gordon. That one will. It's now 0-2. Boy, it looked like it was right down the middle, but the umpire hesitated for so long. I wasn't. All of a sudden, thought maybe it missed a little bit high. Here's the 0-2 pitch from Tigan to Gordon. There's a ground ball to the left side. That goes underneath the glove, the shortstop in Metzger, and there's the 7th error of the ball game by Harrisburg. And Gordon is on base for the second time.
Yeah, and just a play that Metzger, instead of taking one step to his right to get in front of the ball, just went down on a knee and tried to backhand the ball, just skipped under his glove, and again 7 errors. I mean, you are not going to win many ball games with 7 errors up on the board, and so Post 8 has been good about taking advantage of those errors today.
Iverson will sky the first pitch into center field for Rayburn to play, and there's now 2 down as Gordon will retreat back to first, and then they'll bring up Cade Hinkle. He was 1 for 2. He singled back in the third, walked, and came around to score in the 5th.
Simmons now at 98 pitches on the day, so his day is almost done. Depending upon what happens here with Hinkle, and if he's able to extend the inning, he's probably got 1, maybe 2 batters left to Simmons.
First pitch to Hinkle is missed low for ball 1. Greg, I will say that it's Tigan out on the mound for Harrisburg.
Well, okay.
So, but Simmons was getting close to that end, and of course he didn't get the help that he probably should have had from Harrisburg in that 6 errors that were charged to the Harrisburg Tigers in that first 5 innings. As the next pitch misses to Cade Hinkle.
I wasn't paying any attention to you in the changeover in the inning. I'm just looking at Game Changer, and they still have Simmons on the mound, so that's why. So I apologize for that oversight.
As Tigan will deliver here to Hinkle. That one will bounce in. And the count is now at 3-0 to Hinkle. Now to yell down to Kelly Stout to help out everybody that might be following along on Game Changer. Here's the 3-0 pitch. That one is over for strike 1. Now it's 3-1 here to Hinkle. Hinkle is the team leader in walks. He walked in the 5th inning. Came around to score on the 2 RBI single from Jack Van Camp. That made it an 8-1 lead. It's now 8-2 here in the top of the 6th. That's the 3-1 instead of check over at first and diving back in safely as Gordon. 2 down here in the top of the 6th inning. As
Kelly. This is Tigan pitch.
Tigan will come set. Here comes the 3-1 pitch. That one will be over for strike 2, and the count is now at 3-2 with 2 down, so Gordon will get a head start. Tigan will veer in for the side. He'll come set. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. Hinkle will ground it to the first base side. That one takes a bad hop, but a good play by the first baseman and Lucas to stay with it in the flip to the pitcher covering Tigan, and that will retire the side here in the top of the 6th inning. No runs, no hits, 1 error, and 1 man left on base. We have played a 5.5. It is an 8-2 lead here for Post State over Harrisburg. You listen to Post State Baseball. Today is KCCR, and today is KCCR.com. As we welcome you back here to the bottom of the sixth inning, it is going to be 7, 8, and 9. Chase Lucas, Ethan Rollinger, and then Jack Tygan will be the first three hitters as Rollinger moves into that designated hitter spot, playing out in left field to lead things off here in the bottom. As Jake Mayer is on for his second inning, or into his second inning. Retired the only man he faced in that bottom of the fifth as the first pitch is fouled back, and it's 0-1. Here to Lucas, the first baseman, who made an excellent play to end the top of the sixth inning on a hop that almost got away from him as the 0-1 pitch comes in and outside for ball one. Now the count is even at 1-1.
Yeah, and again, up 8-2. Jake Mayer's job now is just get outs. It doesn't matter how pretty they are, just get outs.
That one's popped up on the infield. Lincoln Keenol's in foul territory, reaches a glove in fair territory to make the catch. And there's one down here in the bottom of the sixth inning. And here is Ethan Rollinger. Rollinger moves into that spot for the designated hitter. He went 0 for 2 at Lowe's. It's now Rollinger who will try and get the fourth hit of the ball game for Harrisburg. Just 3 hits so far, 2 in the first and 1 in the fifth, which was a home run in that bottom of the fifth inning. As first pitch to Rollinger is over for strike one.
8 runs, 10 hits, 1 error for Pierre. 2 runs, 3 hits, and 7 errors for Harrisburg. That's the difference in the game right now, those 7 errors.
The 0-1 is fouled back and is now 0-2. Rollinger is batting at 172 coming into today. He has got 1 home run. He's driven in 14 runs, just 10 hits on 58 at-bats. The 0-2 is a curveball that just misses inside, and it's now 1-2.
We can close the book on both starting pitchers today, John. For Harrisburg, Will Simmons goes 5 innings, allows 10 hits, 8 runs, 5 of them earned, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. For Pierre, Garrett Stout, 4 2/3 innings pitched, 3 hits, 2 runs allowed, 1 earned, 6 walks, and 8 strikeouts.
Here is the 1-2, the 2-2 pitch, and a swing and a miss, and Rollinger is down on strikes, and there is the second out here in the bottom of the sixth inning, and that number 8 spot has picked up 3 strikeouts as well. And here is Jack Tygan, the pitcher, who is 0 for 1 so far. He walked in the second, ground out to the second baseman Coverdale in the fourth. Mayer has retired the first 3 men he's faced. First pitch is upstairs for ball 1.
Mayer's been very efficient so far. Just 12 pitches so far for Mayer through 3 batters.
The 1-0 from Mayer to Tygan. That was a fly ball out into the gap in right center field. Van Camp will not track it down. Neither will Matt Lusk. Lusk will pick it up at the wall, and it's a 2-out stand-up double for Jack Tygan. And that will bring up Tyson Kogel, who homered in his last at-bats. That led off the bottom of the fifth.
And much like we talked about in the pregame, this Harrisburg team, when they hit the ball, they hit it a long way. They've got 4 hits, 3 of them for extra bases so far today. 2 doubles and a home run.
So here is now Kogel with 2 away and a runner at second base. Jack Van Camp slow to get back to his position out in right field. As Mayer will come set and deliver the first pitch to the third baseman, Kogel. That one's on the outside corner, just missing for ball 1. Kogel 1 for 2 so far. Walked in the second, was stranded over at first, and then hit that solo homer to lead off the bottom of the fifth. Here's the 1-0 pitch from Mayer to Kogel. That one will be low, and it's now 2-0. And as Greg said, it's all about getting outs. Just needs to get out, throw strikes, and get outs. That 2-out double doesn't hurt you. A base hit here doesn't hurt you. Just keep throwing strikes. And Harrisburg will eventually get themselves out here in this inning. The 2-0 is fouled off of a Kogel. That one hurt Kogel. That one he got up pretty quick.
Yeah, that spun him in a circle. He almost looked like a drill bit going into the ground the way he spun on that one, and it probably is going to leave a mark on the top of that foot the way he reacted. It if you've ever fouled a ball off of your foot, you get a ball coming down straight down onto the top of your foot where there's no protection in that cleat, coming down at about 70 miles an hour. That'll leave a mark.
Count is 2-1. That's another good analogy there from you.
Drill bit?
Yeah, circling around.
I got my tools with me today.
The 2-1 pitch is upstairs, and it's 3-1. We're not wearing a hard hat, though.
Well, trust me. I mean, with the level of mechanical ability I have, I mean, it's amazing I've even got any tool references in my box.
Guys, 3-1 as Mayer will come set and deliver the 3-1 to Tyson Kogel. That one is over for strike 2, and the count is now full at 3-2. Thought maybe you're going to say you don't need to wear a hard hat because head's already so hard as it is.
Well, there's that too.
As the count is full, Mayer will come set from the stretch. Here is the full count pitch. That one's fouled back, and it remains 3-2. Every time I hit my head as a kid, my dad would always ask if the wall was okay or the ground was okay or anything that I hit was okay, not if I was okay.
That's kind of the fatherly duty. It's good to think that's called tough love, isn't it?
I guess so. As the Mayer from the stretch, here's the 3-2 again. Outside, and it's a 2-out walk to Tyson Kogel. Second time he's been walked, and now bring up Zeb Weedy.
Now batting number 20.
And Weedy is 1 for 3. He doubled and scored in the first, struck out in the second, and flew out in the fifth. 2 down here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Post State and Jake Mayer find a way to get out of this one here in the 6th. Keep that a 6-run lead. First pitch to Weedy is over for strike 1.
Yeah, and right now, just what you need is first pitch strikes. Jake Mayer just needs to throw first pitch strikes and get ahead in the count and get the Harrisburg batters on the defensive. And like we talked about, when the infield comes in, your batting average goes up 100 points. When your pitcher's throwing first pitch strikes, opposing batters' batting averages goes down 100 points. I mean, those are the couple of just quick keys to success for baseball teams.
Pitch outside 1-2. Not a bad spot there from Mayer, and a good job by Weedy to recognize the 0-2 curveball going across. The Mayer will come set. Here's the 1-2 pitch. That one's outside in the turf, and now 2-2. And from 0-2, now the count is even here at 2-2.
Yeah, you don't want to be too fine. You don't want to nibble too much. You got to be aggressive on the mound, and Jake's done a nice job with that so far. Just got to get weedy here and get out of this inning.
2-2 pitch. There's a line shot in the right field, right at Jack Van Camp, and he'll make the catch, and that'll end the 6th inning. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, 2 men left on base. 6 full completes here at Harrisburg. 8-2, Post State leads over Harrisburg. You're listening to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. Top of the 7th inning. It is 7-8-9 here as Matt Lusk, Jack Van Camp, and then it'll be Jake Mayer to lead things off for Post State here in the top of the 7th inning. Trying to extend their 6-run lead and give some insurance to Jake Mayer, who will try and finish out the ball game in that bottom of the 7th. No action in the bullpen right now for Post State out in left field. Here's the first pitch from Tigan over to Matt Lusk at the letters for strike 1. Lusk is 0 for 2. Struck out, grounded out. Sacrifice bunt back in the 5th inning. Or that 2-run inning and that 2 RBI single from Van Camp set that up perfectly for Jack Van Camp, who waits on deck. Lusk will fly the 0-1 out to left field, and coming in on it will be the left fielder, Rollinger. He'll make the catch, and leadoff man is retired here to open up the top of the 7th. And here is Jack Van Camp, who is 2 for 3 with a double and a single. 2 runs driven in so far for the right fielder.
Yeah, it looked like Tigan just got a ball in, and fastball in on the inside part of the plate to Matt Lusk, and he wasn't able to get the barrel of the bat around, got it in on his hands, and just kind of a routine fly ball out to Rollinger in left field.
As the first pitch is upstairs to Jack Van Camp. You wonder who the game 2 starter is going to be, if maybe Van Camp, if he throws against maybe Post 22 this coming Friday, or even Thursday against Sioux Falls West. As the 1-0 is over and across in the inside corner, now 1-1. You got the likes of Bennett Dean, who didn't throw enough on Saturday to make him ineligible for today, as the count is now 1-2 to Van Camp. Matt Lusk is available. Van Camp, obviously, and it'll be interesting to see who they go to. Does Coach White in game number 2?
Yeah, and my guess would be that Van Camp probably gets the start in game 2, and then Thursday against Sioux Falls West might be a Kobe Carr start. Kobe threw well and is probably kind of next up in the rotation after having thrown Friday and had a very good outing against West Fargo, like we said earlier in the game. A game that, even though he got the loss, a game he probably should not have gotten tagged with the loss on, because he certainly pitched well enough to win that game.
So here is Jake Mayer for his first at-bats. He can help himself out here. The first pitch is over for strike 1 at the knees. A.J. Gaden reached base all 3 times. He reached on an error twice and singled in the 5th inning. Was stranded at third all 3 times that he reached base in this ball game. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Jake Mayer. That one's chopped at the plate and be foul, and it's now 0-2. On deck is Garrett Stout, the top of the order.
8th at bat of the year for Jake Mayer, still looking for his first hit. Got a couple of plate appearances on Saturday against West Central. He does have a hit by pitch. He does have a 125 on base percentage so far this year.
Here's the 0-2 pitch. Runners off with a pitch. It's a pitch in the turf, and taking second will be Van Camp. And it's now a 1-2 count to Jake Mayer.
Like I said, Jake primarily being used as a pitcher this year. He had a little bit of an injury problem early in the year, and returned to the team about the middle of June, and he's been a nice addition to the pitching staff so far for Post 8.
1-2 is a swing and a miss by Mayer, and he goes down on strikes, and there's now 2 down. Then I'll bring up Garrett Stout. And Stout with a base hit could make this a 7-run lead here for Post 8. Who is 2 for 4 so far. He singled in his first 2 at-bats. He struck out and reached on a fielder's choice in his last 2 at-bats. Tigan will come set from the stretch. Here's the first pitch to Stout. That one is over at the letters for strike 1. 6-run lead here for Post 8, the top of the 7th. As they look for a Game 1 win over Harrisburg, 3 outs away from that. The 0-1, Stout flies it out towards right center field. Moving over is the center fielder. The right fielder, though, will call it in Mason. He'll make the catch, and that will retire the side here in the top of the 7th. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 man left on base. Post 8, 3 outs away from a Game 1 win over Harrisburg. They lead 8-2. You listen to Post 8 Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. Bottom of the seventh inning. It is 3, 4, and 5 here for Harrisburg. They need 6 runs in this bottom of the seventh. Peyton Metzger, Jack Rayburn, and Timon Long, the first 3 hitters. First pitch is over for strike 1 from Jake Mayer. Metzger is 1 for 2. Single in the first, walked in the third. Struck out looking in the 5th inning. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Outside, 1-1 to the shortstop, Metzger. Harrisburg, they were doomed by the 7 errors that they have picked up here in this ball game. They trail by 6 as the 1-1 is across the plate on the outside edge, now 1-2.
Yeah, Mayer's been very effective in working that outside corner so far, and again, he's getting ahead in the count and doing exactly what you want to see out of your relief pitcher when you're up 8-2 here late in the game.
That one misses, and now it's 2-2. Here to the leadoff hitter and Peyton Metzger. Mayer from the windup. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. That one's fouled at the plate, and it will remain at 2-2.
Jake, a rising senior with this team, a team that, as we've talked about through the summer, John, has 11 seniors on it, but there is a fair amount of depth and experience coming back. I think there's seven rising juniors along with rising sophomore Lincoln Keenholz on this team, and a good amount of quality athletes down on the junior legion team that will probably fill out this roster next year.
As Metzger is walked to lead off the bottom of the 7th, here is Jack Rayburn, who is 0 for 2 so far. And then even you look at Cade Hinkle, who could return next year. All these seniors will be done except for Hinkle, who has the opportunity to come back. And he is playing college baseball next year, so he could potentially return after playing quite a bit in the college, as the first pitch is fouled just down the third base line, just fouled. It's 0-1 to Rayburn.
Yeah, I think I think we heard that the Van Camp twins are also young enough to return, as well as Justin Houlette, and so of those 4 who potentially could be super seniors, I think you're right. I think Hinkle is the one who is most likely to return, and certainly would add a lot of value and a lot of experience to this post-8 team at that catching position if he were to come back and play another year.
Pickoff attempt over at first and back in safely as Metzger. And for Jake Mayer here in the bottom of the 7th inning, no, you don't really even need to worry about that runner on first base. He can take second if he wants to. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That one's outside now, 1-1. Just attack every hitter. And until that score gets a little bit tighter, no need to worry about those guys on base. Obviously, don't go from the windup, but there's no need for pickoff attempts. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That one's popped up. That one get out of play, and it's going to go just to the right of the press box. And it's now 1-2. Yeah,
my arm's not long enough.
You had your chance. Although you got to be careful to not go too far away from from us. Otherwise, you'll take the board with you.
Yeah, my cord isn't long enough, and neither is my go-go gadget arm to the right.
Count is now 1-2 here to Jack Rayburn. Mayer comes set from the stretch. Here's the 1-2 pitch. That one's popped. That one will get out of play, and it'll land just – actually, it stays in play, and Hinkle will make the catch. And there's one down. That wind thought maybe it was going to take it out of play, but it stayed hung in enough, and Hinkle makes the first catch for the first out here in the bottom of the 7th.
I was trying to figure out if I was going to have a play on that ball, too.
Yeah, I thought we had a better chance of making the catch than Hinkle. But he was the one that made the catch, and there's one down, and here's Timon Long, who is 0 for 1 with 2 walks. One down here in the bottom of the 7th. First pitch to Long is upstairs for ball 1.
In the shade, sitting over here in the shade of the press box, I'm getting a little cold, even though that sun probably feels good. But it's with that wind and certainly not a typical mid-July day.
That one's popped up on the infield. Stout will call for it. He gets in the infield grass. He'll make the catch, and there's now 2 down. And posted an out away from finishing off game 1 against Harrisburg, as that'll bring in Chase Mason, who is looking to avoid the golden sombrero. He's got his 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts so far in this ball game.
Yeah, one big out away from a win here in game number 1 of this doubleheader. That'd be a huge confidence booster for Post State if they could could come out of here knowing they're gonna go home with at least a split today, and certainly set themselves up in a position for a sweep if they can pull it off.
First pitch is upstairs for ball one. Here's the 1-0. That one's over for strike one, and the count is now 1-1.
But in order to do that, they've got to get this final out, and we know that Chase Mason certainly has the to make this game just a little closer with one swing of the bat.
Here's a 1-1 pitch from Mayer to Mason. That one's fouled back, and it's now 1-2. And Mayer is strike away from finishing out this ball game. Hit the 2-hour mark on the dot right now. Here it started at 4:56, now at 6:56. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. That one is over for strike three, and that will end the ball game as Post State's they take it 8-2 over Harrisburg in game number one. Back in 3 minutes to wrap this one up, get you set for game number two. You listen to Post State Baseball. Today is KCCR. Today is KCCR.com. As we welcome you back here to Harrisburg as Post State wins 8-2 in game one over the Tigers. John Winkler alongside Greg Dean. It was 8 runs on 10 hits, 1 error for Post State, 2 runs, 4 hits, 7 errors for Harrisburg. As we also welcome in Coach Nathan Nas of Post State. And Coach, that's a big 8-2 win. That's a big game one win because now obviously you'd love to go for the sweep, but at least you have a split with Harrisburg here tonight.
Yeah, that's big. The kids, they knew coming over that Harrisburg was going to be pretty good, and so they're kind of riding high, riding confident, wanting to knock off some big dogs. And we went out there and put the ball in play well at the plate. Garrett threw well. Jake came in and threw all after him, and defensively we didn't make very many mistakes.
Speaking of mistakes, the 7 errors from Harrisburg in that game, and you guys took advantage of it. It wasn't just 7 errors that were scattered around and you couldn't take advantage of it. You guys took advantage of it, scored 2 in the first, 3 in the third, another 2 in the fifth. And for you guys, only 1 error in the ball game, and there's your difference. 6 errors is the differential, and 6 runs is the differential in the score.
Yeah, and that's one thing we talked about with the guys afterwards is a lot of those plays when they had errors, we had guys getting out of the box hard, and so they were kind of rushing throws, and they made some good plays to keep the ball in the infield, but then just not executing the throws. And we just talked to the guys that's what getting hard out of the box does. It makes them have to hustle and hurry, and then you get the error throws. And then we had guys come up afterwards, really take advantage of guys getting in good position on the bases and scoring.
And Garrett Stout had 8 strikeouts in the ball game. Jake Mayer, he finished with 2 strikeouts, actually 3 strikeouts, so 11 strikeouts in total of the Harrisburg Tigers, and they're a team that's susceptible to strikeouts. And here for Jack Van Camp, that he's going to be the starter in game number 2. It's hopefully much the same for Van Camp and throwing a lot of strikeouts.
Yeah, if he can come up and throw the way he's been throwing, and like I said earlier, like the guys they're excited to play these guys. You know, we hear about how good Harrisburg's pitching is, and they have some phenomenal pitchers on their staff, and that makes our guys want to step up on the mound just that much more and want to be comparable to some of the guys that they have throwing.
What do you expect in here for game number 2? Obviously, we talked about Jack Van Camp, but we don't know their starter yet here for Harrisburg. Maybe assume that it could be Chase Mason, who has thrown the second most innings. What do you expect from Harrisburg, especially after that first game? Okay, let's backtrack here. Let's ask this question here. How important is the first inning of game 2, because Harrisburg played, and the coaching staff would say they played poorly in that game. How important is that first inning to get up on them and also get a 0 for you defensively?
Yeah, it's huge. If we can come out in the first inning and really take care of business, towards the end of the game, you could kind of see a couple of the body language from our guys. You know, they were coming out playing well, and our guys were walking a little bit taller. They weren't playing as well. Their guys were drooped a little bit. So just if we can come out big and set the tone early, hopefully we can, if we don't end it early, we can at least, build that lead early and really carry some confidence.
Congratulations on the first win. Good luck here in game number 2, and I guess I'll talk to you on the ride home.
All right, appreciate it. Thanks, Sean.
Coach Nathan Nas of Post State. It is an 8-2 win for the Eights in game number 1. As we talked about, Jack Van Camp will start here game number 2 for the Eights as we welcome back in Greg Dean. And Greg, we'll kind of talk about this now a little bit here. Post State's they took advantage of the errors that Harrisburg had, and that's what you want to see. Good teams take advantage of the errors. Good teams also limit the errors, and that's what Post State did in that first game.
Yeah, and any time that you can take advantage of another team's miscues, it's kind of it's kind of a win-win situation. Not only do you as the team, in this case Pierre, have an opportunity to gain some advantage out of it, and especially as those errors kept multiplying for Harrisburg, it just takes a lot of that momentum away. And so Pierre did a very nice job. Post State did a very nice job early on in this game. They were able to get out early, and it seemed like every time that Harrisburg made an error, that Post State made them pay. I mean, they took advantage of it. And so a lot of credit to Post State in this game 1 win. I think you and I talked about it a little bit, and certainly what I had in my mind coming down here was that if Post State could come out of today with at least a split, that would be good for them. Give them an opportunity to take advantage of that, and certainly put them in a position to stay in that top 4 someplace. Now, having won game 1, if they can come out of here with a sweep, they really set themselves up well, and probably, I don't want to say cement themselves into that top 4, but certainly put themselves in a situation where it's going to be really tough for them to come out of that top 4 slot.
Yeah, and I kind of made the mention, I believe, with DT a couple mornings ago, maybe yesterday morning, we were talking about that, and it's the last 6 games, obviously there could be a 7th game if they get matched up with a South Dakota Class A team on Sunday. That's all up in the air on how each team does. But you play Sioux Falls West, you play Post 22, then you play Spearfish in a doubleheader, and then obviously you get this next game left. You're 1-0 in those last 6 games. If you go 4-2, you're almost guaranteed, and that's being 4-2 with 2 of those wins being against Spearfish. You don't want to lose those 2 games because those will really hurt you in the standings. But if you win those 2 games and you win 2 of the 4 against Harrisburg West and Post 22, you're probably sitting in the top 4 seeds, and that's where you want to be. Obviously, 3 would probably be a little bit better than 4 because you might have to play Harrisburg in another series back at Hyde Stadium, and that's going to be tough. And not necessarily that the 6 seed is going to be any easier, but it's you like to be that top 3. And a sweep here does put the pressure on Post 22 going into that Friday matchup, because if you beat Post 22, you're almost being able to jump above them in the standings then.
Yeah, and again, there's a lot of ball games that are going on, especially tonight. We talked about that in the pregame before game 1, that the standings, even though this is how they look right now, with Post 22 sitting in first place, Brandon sitting in second, and Pierre Post 8 sitting in third. And let me pull those standings up real quick. Post 22 has 44.00 points. Brandon at 9-5, they're at 43.29 points, and then Pierre at now, after this game, 15-6. They came into this game with 42.8 points. So with a big win here, this is a 47-point win for them. That will edge them up at least a little bit in their point average, and it will drop Harrisburg down a little bit, potentially even with this loss, potentially might put them under Renner and drop them from 5th, possibly into 6th. And so there's going to be probably a lot of movement in the standings, John, just by the time that the standings get posted tomorrow.
If the playoffs had started today, Pierre would have been playing Aberdeen in the region round in Hyde Stadium, and then if they would win and seeds would hold up, they would be playing Renner in the Super Region at Hyde Stadium as well. Obviously, there's still plenty of games still to be played, and of course against Sioux Falls West, who is sitting at number 11 in the standings right now, and then of course against the top seed Post 22. Before then, you face the 16th seed in Spearfish, the final weekend of the season, because then I believe that Friday and Saturday are probably the last days for everybody to be playing, because then I think Monday through Wednesday right now is that scheduled region tournament, that first region. And I would not assume that they would take all 3 days to play. We'd probably play a doubleheader one day and then a, if necessary, game the next day. But those are the 3 days that are lined out here to be held for the region. And this is just as important a game as it is game 1 was. Obviously, for Post State, it's you don't want to say less important, but a sweep now. You obviously got to win one game to try and get a sweep. They've got that done, and this becomes an important game to maybe all of a sudden sneak into a number 2 seed or a number 1 seed.
Yeah, and for Harrisburg, this game almost becomes a must-win game, because, as we talked about, they only have a remaining doubleheader next Tuesday against Renner. So now the fact that they lost this first game, potentially that drops them down into the number 6 slot, and if they were to lose this second game and then potentially lose a couple of games to Renner, they might actually drop down either to the 7 or potentially maybe as low as number 8 if things really fell apart for them. So like I said, this second game almost becomes a must-win game for Harrisburg, and so it'll be interesting to see how they play this. Having not played a game for a week, you would think that their top 2 arms, and Simmons being one of those top 2 arms, we saw him in game number 1, but you would certainly think that Chase Mason, who is their number 1 arm, is probably lined up to pitch. Although we don't have a lineup from Harrisburg yet, I'd be surprised if we don't see Chase Mason go in game number 2 here, and he had a really good outing a couple of weeks ago out in Rapid City where he struck out 16 batters against Post 22 in an extra inning loss. He threw 8 innings, actually was able to get not only a complete game but throw 8 complete innings, stay under that pitch count, and still strike out 16 batters. So he's probably one of the top 2 or 3 pitchers in South Dakota right now.
And their next game against South Dakota teams, Renner, is a week from today. So those 2 guys could be the only 2 guys, and you can save those arms then till next week next week, Tuesday, the 21st, to finish out your South Dakota season. So this is it. I mean, it all points to them throwing Mason here in game 2, although we don't have the lineup. And then those two will probably throw again then next week against Renner to try and win those 2 ball games as well. We'll step aside for 3 minutes. We'll come back and we'll start to get you set for game number 2 as Post State and Harrisburg will battle for that second time. Post State wins game 1 8-2. You're listening to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com.